Why, hell. Oh, I'm Sharon Needles. Tonight, boys and ghouls, and anyone in between, we're gonna blow the dust off some old VHS. We're going to be taking a look at some of the horror films that may have been neglected. Welcome to Horrorscope. For tonight's film, my all-time favorite horror movie, Return of the Living Dead. Made by Dan O'Bannon and released in 1985, this real trick-or-treat has it all. Zombies, punk rockers, full frontal nudity, and possibly one of the best soundtracks ever made. The Dam, 45 Grave, and that's just the beginning of the CBGB culture that graces this amazing soundtrack. The prelude to this plot is a gaggle of punk rockers starring one of my favorite scream queens, Linnea Quigley, going to the graveyard for some good old-fashioned partying. While across town, we learned that Night of the Living Dead was actually a true story. All the evidence was packed away into these US regulated tanks, but unfortunately, instead of going to a secret army base, they accidentally wound up at the You Need It medical supply store. Freddy and his boss accidentally unleashed the zombie gas. This green gas reanimates all of the split dogs, butterflies, and yes, human cadavers that the medical center holds. Freddy and his boss frantically take all the animated specimens across the street, which happens to be a mortuary. They place anything that was infected into the crematorium. Problem solved. Or is it? All the smoke from the crematorium go up into the rain clouds. Acid rain begins pouring down over all the punks in the cemetery. You see where this is going. The sex, drugs, and rock and roll hooligans seek shelter in the medical supply store, only to be attacked by a group of zombies. Unfortunately, Freddy gets infected, and the film quickly becomes a touching love story. In his final goodbyes to his girlfriend, he says not only can he smell her, he can smell her brains. It wouldn't be a zombie movie without a little bit of the US Army, who's been preparing for this outbreak for some time. And they drop an atomic bomb on St. Louis. One of the most beloved scenes from Return of the Living Dead, especially for any 14-year-old boy, is the beautiful dance segment done by Linnea Quigley with full frontal nudity. Lucky you, straight teenage boys. Not only do you get tits, you get pussy. But the character that really steals the show in this gore fest is Tarman, one of the best horror villains of all time. His walk resembles mine about every night at 2:30 in the morning. Some of my favorite lines from this movie include, "You know, I get no respect around here. You think this is a fucking costume? This is a way of life. You want to know the worst way I think it would be to die? To have a bunch of old men to rip off my clothes and start eating me alive. And of course, I just want to party." If you like Return of the Living Dead, feel free to check out some of the other films from the franchise, like Return of the Living Dead Part 2, which is much more like Creepshow, or Return of the Living Dead Part 3, which is mostly based around a 21-year-old slut who pierces every part of her body. But the one I would probably avoid the most is Return of the Living Dead Part 5, Rave to the Grave, where this zombie gas somehow ends up in a batch of ecstasy where a rave goes wrong. I think that one's James St. James' favorite. So that sums up my review of Return of the Living Dead. And remember, kids, every day is Halloween. Boom. Don't forget to subscribe to WOWPresents. And of course, follow me, Sharon Needles.